The most famous person you forgot about was earning millions for TV networks while getting paid like a backup dancer. This is Debra Wilson in 1999, and this is her just 4 years ago. The transformation shocked the world, but the real story behind her disappearance from Hollywood will make you angry. Today, I'm exposing everything the industry tried to hide about one of comedy's biggest cover-ups. Debra Wilson dominated Saturday nights for 8 straight years. While everyone was watching Saturday Night Live, there was another show that dared to go where SNL wouldn't. MadTV launched in 1995, and from day one Debra Wilson was its superstar. She didn't just do impressions, she became other people completely. Her Oprah wasn't just funny, it was scary good. Her Whitney Houston made you forget you were watching an actress. When she transformed into Mariah Carey, even Mariah's own mother would have been fooled. But here's the first secret the network never wanted you to know. Debra was earning less money than cast members who joined the show years after her, not a little less. A lot less. She was the star, carrying entire episodes on her back, while newer white male actors were getting bigger paychecks for doing half the work. This wasn't an accident. This was a system designed to keep her in her place. The show needed her desperately. Every week, Debra was playing 5 different characters, while other cast members played 1 or 2. She was the Oprah expert, the Whitney specialist, the go-to person for any black female celebrity. The pressure was crushing. Imagine being the only person on your team expected to score every goal while everyone else just had to show up. That was Debra's reality for nearly a decade. The breaking point came during season 6. A new cast member joined the show. He was white, male, and had 0 sketch comedy experience. Within months, Debra discovered he was earning more than the woman who had been there since episode 1. More than the performer who had created the show's most famous sketches. The betrayal cut deep, but what happened next cut deeper. Debra did what any professional would do. She asked for a meeting with the producers. She came prepared with facts. She showed them her contributions, her fan mail, her importance to the show's success. She wasn't demanding to be the highest paid person. She just wanted fairness. The response was swift and brutal. Absolutely not. No discussion, no negotiation, no respect, just a flat rejection that told her everything she needed to know about how the network really saw her. The psychological warfare was just beginning. Other cast members started getting opportunities outside the show, movie roles, hosting gigs, development deals. Debra got nothing. She watched less talented performers land major projects, while she remained trapped in a job that undervalued her. The message was clear: be grateful for what you have, and don't ask for more. The most painful part wasn't the money, it was the isolation. Debra was often the only black woman in writing meetings, in rehearsals, in decision-making sessions. She carried the weight of representing an entire community while fighting for basic respect. Every character she played was scrutinized. Every sketch was a chance to either advance or harm representation. The pressure would have broken most people. Her working relationship with Aries Spears tells the whole story. On screen they had amazing chemistry. Their sketches together were comedy gold. Behind the scenes, the dynamic was toxic. Aries joined the show after Debra but immediately got better treatment. He got bigger storylines, more mini and more respect from writers and producers. When they did sketches together, Debra did the heavy lifting with voices and character work, while Aries got the punchlines and the praise. Years later, Debra finally confronted him about it. The conversation was explosive. She called him out for his arrogance, his entitlement, and his complete blindness to the privileges he enjoyed. She told him exactly what it felt like to watch him complain about not getting enough opportunities while she was being systematically shut out of everything. The pain in her voice was real. This wasn't just about money or fame, this was about dignity. But the most shocking revelation involves Oprah Winfrey herself. Debra's Oprah impressions were legendary. They weren't just accurate, they were transformative. She turned America's sweetheart into a comedy monster, and audiences loved it. The sketches showed Oprah as controlling, manipulative, and sometimes violent. While fans quoted these sketches for years, one person might not have been laughing: Oprah herself. Here's where the story gets dark. As Debra's Oprah parodies became more popular, her career opportunities mysteriously started drying up. Industry executives who once praised her work became distant. Projects that should have been perfect for her went to other actresses. She was excluded from events and conversations where she belonged. No one ever said Oprah had a problem with the sketches, but in Hollywood, you don't need words. Power moves in silence. Oprah was more than just a talk show host, she was a media empire with the power to make or break careers. If she didn't appreciate being portrayed as a cartoon villain, she wouldn't need to make phone calls or send lawyers. The industry would just quietly understand that Debra Wilson was no longer welcome at the top table. It's a theory, but the timing is too perfect to ignore. The final insult came when Debra decided to leave MadTV in 2003. After 8 seasons of carrying the show, of creating its most memorable moments, of giving her entire 20s to their success, her departure was met with silence. No goodbye episode, no farewell tribute, no acknowledgement of her contributions. She just vanished, and the show acted like she had never existed. The aftermath was devastating. Leaving MadTV should have opened doors for Debra. She was a proven performer with name recognition and a devoted fan base. Instead, the opposite happened. The phone stopped ringing. Casting directors forgot her name. Projects that would have been perfect for her went to less talented actresses. Hollywood had quietly blacklisted one of its most gifted performers. The transition from television star to struggling voice actress was humiliating. Debra went from being recognized on the street to auditioning for cartoon characters alongside actors who had never had a regular TV role. She took whatever work she could get. Video game voices, commercial narrations, animated. Each job was a reminder of how far she had fallen from her peak. The personal cost was enormous. The financial stress of going from a steady TV salary to piecing together small voice jobs was crushing. Her marriage couldn't survive the pressure and ended in divorce. She had to downsize her life, sell her house, and face the reality that the industry she had given everything to had abandoned her completely. The lowest point came in the mid-2000s. Debra was nearly broke, professionally invisible, and emotionally destroyed. She had gone from being a household name to being completely forgotten in just a few years. The speed of her fall was shocking. One day she was making millions laugh, the next she was struggling to pay rent. It was during this dark period that she found strength and faith, turning to spirituality when everything else had failed. But Debra's story doesn't end in despair. Slowly, she began to rebuild. The voice acting work that had initially felt like a step down became a source of artistic fulfillment. She discovered she could bring the same creativity to animated characters that she had brought to live television. Her work in major video game franchises brought her to the attention of new fans who appreciated her talent. Social media became her unexpected savior. Fans who had grown up watching MadTV began sharing clips of her performances online. Her sketches went viral decades after they first aired, introducing her work to a generation that had never seen the original show. Young comedians started citing her as an influence, studying her techniques and recognizing her contributions to comedy. The video game industry embraced her talent in ways Hollywood never had. She landed major roles in blockbuster games like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, where she plays Ciri Junda with depth and nuance. She's worked on Halo Infinite, Call of Duty, and countless other productions that have made her voice familiar to millions of gamers worldwide. Today, Debra is probably more successful than she ever was during her MadTV days, at least in terms of steady work and professional respect. The gaming industry values her skill and professionalism in ways traditional entertainment never did. She's found an audience that appreciates her artistry without judging her appearance or age. But the success in voice acting can't erase the years of mainstream recognition that were stolen from her. She should have been a comedy legend, inspiring young performers, and paving the way for others. Instead, she became a cautionary tale about what happens when talent isn't enough to overcome systematic discrimination. Recent photos of Debra circulating online shocked fans who remembered her as a young performer. People focused on her appearance, speculating about her health and personal struggles. But those who understood her story saw something different. They saw a woman who had survived decades of industry neglect and rebuilt her career from nothing. The entertainment industry likes to celebrate its progress on diversity and inclusion. But Debra Wilson's story proves that progress means nothing without accountability. The same executives who marginalized her are still making decisions. The same systems that allowed her to be underpaid and undervalued are still in place. Her story with Aries Spears came full circle years later when she finally confronted him publicly. The conversation was raw and emotional, with years of suppressed anger finally finding voice. She called him out for his sense of entitlement and his failure to acknowledge the privileges he had enjoyed at her expense. It wasn't just about Aries, it was about a system that protects mediocre men while discarding exceptional women. The MadTV reunion that happened without her was the final insult.
Despite being one of the show's foundational stars, despite creating its most memorable sketches, despite giving 8 years of her life to its success, she wasn't invited to celebrate its legacy. The erasure was complete, but Debra never let bitterness consume her. She didn't write tell-all books or launch public campaigns for recognition. She kept working, kept creating, kept proving her worth through her artistry. Her dignity in the face of systematic discrimination is perhaps her greatest achievement. The transformation photos that shocked the internet weren't just about aging. They were about survival. Every line on her face tells the story of a woman who fought an entire industry and refused to give up. The weariness in her eyes isn't defeat, it's the exhaustion of someone who had to rebuild her entire career from scratch. Debra Wilson's legacy goes beyond comedy sketches and celebrity impressions. Her story is a mirror for the entertainment industry's ongoing problems with equality and representation. Her experience wasn't unique, it was emblematic of how countless talented women, particularly women of color, have been treated by an industry that profits from their creativity while denying them basic respect. The most tragic part is what we lost as an audience. Debra Wilson should have been mentoring young comedians, starring in movies, hosting award shows, and continuing to make us laugh on our biggest stages. Instead, her prime years were stolen by an industry too comfortable with its own prejudices to recognize true greatness. Today, she continues to work and inspire, proving that real talent finds a way to shine regardless of the obstacles. Her voice has reached millions through video games and animated series. She's found success and respect in an industry that values performance over politics. The story of Debra Wilson isn't just about one performer's journey, it's about the price of talent in an industry that doesn't always value it. It's about the cost of integrity in a business that often rewards compromise. Most importantly, it's about the power of persistence when faced with seemingly impossible odds. She deserved better from the industry she helped shape, but she never let that industry's failures define her worth. Her story reminds us that excellence refuses to be silenced, even when powerful forces try to erase it from history. Hit that subscribe button because stories like this need to be told, and legends like Debra Wilson deserve to be remembered.